What's up, y'all? Come on in. What's up? Peace. Come on in.
Peace, y'all.
So you ain't know, y'all, we gonna be the nation.
Bengals Kingdom gon' be the nation if you ain't know it. Elephant shaking, the room is breaking cause we exposing. Got no more patience, your time is wasting, we quickly growing. Unite to save them.
We walk in the path that's formed.
The king is risen, begin the end of a lot is trending. The intention, create completion, answer the vision. And now you tripping cause you ain't listen, no mind your business. Eat up and spill out your cup, then come be a witness. Know what the deal is, you missed it again, see what happened. But it's okay cause we got you, all you need is a napkin. It be like, you taste it, that's how you know we snapping. Back in the place for the go asking for some rap. Gather all the corners, put them together and make a brick. Throw it in the ocean, watch all the water turn into spit. Not hold my lip cause they poisoning all the little kids. Stop these bitch where they sacrificing and eating pigs. Really got the strength to get up and make it out through the day. Every other cent, give it up if you wanna live, you pay. Dare to make a move to be free, bonded to the land we stay. Ashes be left to the place called the USA. Not gon' sleep to the beat, stop and let the people out. If you agree, come with us, move your feet and close your mouth. Dive and let wait, cause the states ain't gon' see nothing. I don't know where to go, come on, we head us out.
Now come on in, y'all. Share the live. Come on in, y'all. Share the live. Let's talk about it, man. We don't want to talk about what matter. You know, we don't want to talk about that's gonna bring silence. We want to keep talking. You know, you'll be surprised how many people make a video or make a panel or, you know, make TikTok so they can make another one tomorrow. See, we don't do this to do this tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? This ain't content. This is, like I would tell you, this is a movement. This is a movement of Jah people. So this is not, you know, content. A lot of people want content. We're not here to give you content. But it's all good, y'all. We here with the truth. Truth gonna reign supreme. Every tongue gonna confess. Every knee gonna bow. It ain't written for a reason. Because what? Tongues were confessing and knees wasn't bowing. You know, that's the whole point about the King of Kings. The whole point about the Lord of Lords. Every tongue gonna confess and every knee gonna bow. So again, y'all, we holding it down. You know, the one who speak righteousness is mighty to save. It's written in your book. The one who speak righteousness is mighty to save. It's in your book. You say it's your book. You say the Bible is for you. Well, the one who speaks righteousness is mighty to save. You know. Let's talk about it, y'all. Share the live. I know I ain't gonna be on the TikTok For You page for too long, so y'all share the live. Keep the algorithm up. So, y'all see the title, The Generation Without a King, man. You know, we got so many, I want to say the word, but I can't. Discrepancy. I can say it in my mind, but I can't, you know. But we got so much confusion. You know, we got so much confusion when it comes to, you know, the Bible prophecy. Is it happened? Is it happened already? Did it happen back then? It's never going to happen. You know, we got, you know, it's a lot of he say, she say, right? It's a lot of it, right? Which is what the Bible say, Babylon. Confusion of languages, you know, the Tower of Babel. You know, it's something like, and you know, you gotta understand what the tower represents. It's all of these different levels people are at, and they talking. Some people talking, they at the bottom of the tower. You got people talking, it's like the Pope now. They would be at the top. You know, then you got your the Pope will be at the top. Then you got your conscious people that's under him. You know, they got their level. You know, all the popes and the rabbis that sent to different other people. You know, then you got the pastors or the mega pastors. I'm talking about the people who millions watch. You see what I'm saying? You got those. They got a level. You know, then you got your everyday pastors. You know, so you got all these different levels. You got your other Catholic priests and your Nation of Islam. They got their level. You know, then you got the Hebrews. Everybody got their level. And then some people just talking just because they can talk. They're way at the bottom. You know, so they're the ones that's really holding this tower up. You know, those are the people that strengthening the tower. You know, you gotta think about where we at right now. And like I tell people, like, if you pay attention to the transition of consciousness, you know, because we all started at the same place. I didn't know, you didn't know, because we was lied to. You know, I don't know, you don't know, so we was both lied to. So everybody started at the same place. So whatever you got, where did you get it from? Where did you get what you have from? So you think about the shift of the conscious community. We all started with Jesus, God, the Bible. Everybody. That's what we started with. Everybody started with that. Now, if they would have just left us at Jesus and God, we'll be more humble to hear the truth. But they didn't. People pulled us out of the lie and put us in a stronger lie. You know, they got a scripture in the Bible where it talks about they took the iron of they took the wooden yoke and put the iron around his neck. It's almost like the Jesus, the Christ, the church, that was like wood. You see what I'm saying? It kept us more humble, you know. It made us wonder. It made us believe in a fairy tale, but it didn't make us feel like we know. See, going to church, you didn't feel like you knew. You know. No, it's in Jeremiah. They took the yoke of. It's in Jeremiah, Isaiah. I think. You know, like, now people actually think they're actually doing. See, when you start going into you doing, that means you feel you know. Church didn't make us feel like we was doing. Church kept us in a more, like I say, in a more meek. No, that's not. That's not it. You said they took a wooden yoke and they made an iron yoke.
I put a yoke on iron.
Maybe it's in Isaiah. I thought it was in Jeremiah, though. You know, but like I was saying, like, Christianity and a lot of these churches didn't make us feel like we knew and we was doing. Once you start putting on clothes, once you start really, you know, just sacrificing animals, you know, when you start being set apart in a way that you think is righteous, you feel you know. And you try to stand out as you know, and the people you follow are the same people who professing to what? Have the way. Because we woke up to curses, oh, we curse. Well, this is how you get rid of the curse. You keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Well, the curse ain't got rid of. The curse ain't been released from us because we keep the law, statutes, and commandments that y'all say we supposed to keep. Because remember, God does have laws, commandments, and statutes. But it was never to read the book and keep them. That's the problem. See, God does got what? Statutes. But what? I mean, commandments, laws, statutes. But they don't come from a book. So, you know, when we really get into we have been pulled out of something that was a little more simpler and been put into something that's a little bit more harder to get out of. You know, it's a little bit harder to get out of a lot of stuff people have left from. Because again, we was all lied to. But when you get taken from a lie and get put into a stronger lie, this is where we at. You know, this is where we at as a generation of people. You know, so like I say, I'm saying all that to say, you know, it's so many talks about, is the Bible about the last days, you know, is the Bible this, is the Bible that, you know, like, you know, we have to really get the standpoint of what the Bible is really talking about. So when you deal with a generation without a king, why does God have to raise up a king? Because God didn't raise up a king back then because they had kings. God sent prophets to the kings. But that's what a lot of people understand. The prophets went to the kings. When you deal with just the King James Version, that's what everybody mostly read. This is the way the Bible broke down. You got two major prophets. And then you have the minor prophets. You have the 12 minor prophets, and you got two major prophets. You got Isaiah, you got Jeremiah. Major prophets. This, if you study the breakdown of the Bible, this is how they set the King James. You got two major prophets. Now, these two major prophets all went to the kings. Isaiah was not a king, and Jeremiah was not a king. They both went to the king. See, this is simple stuff we really don't understand. We don't understand these simple things like this. So God wasn't raising up kings back then. God was what? Trying to instruct the kings to follow the word that they wasn't following. So we don't know biblical history. It was no king raised up. Because you had kings. But the kings did what? Evil in the eyesight of God. So God tried to correct them with the prophets that they rejected. Look at it like this. You know, back then, you couldn't walk in a place and talk to the people without the king instruction. You couldn't just walk up and say, let me talk. I'm finna get a whole crowd of people and they finna listen to you. No, you couldn't do that. So back then, people went to the king because the king, and still today, people, if you deal with big matters, people go to the government. People don't go to people and we get the bottom end of things. So this structure is still today. It's still set up today. This same structure. So the prophets didn't talk to the people. The prophets spoke to the kings of Israel. So the whole prophecy is about what? King David got blood on his hands. He can't build the kingdom. So what happened? The New Testament talk about what? Where was David taken to? David was taken to Babylon. David was taken to Babylon. So when we read these things like this, we are reading it from what? Void. Darkness. We're in darkness about these things. So, but if we go to Matthew 1, y'all, just so you can see what I'm saying, you know, be like, well, what you talking about? Yeah, the Bible say David was carried to Babylon. So if you go to Matthew 1:17, now the book of Matthew is not according to what you think. See, we'll pick up the book of Matthew and say, oh, well, it's talking about such and such date. Says who? And you can't say the world. The Bible says don't be of the world. So says who that Matthew came back then? Who says this? Scholars? That every man be a liar, let God be true. That's said because a lot of people respect status. Well, when God touches down, it's not about status. It's about the Spirit and it's about the truth. Bless those who hear what the Spirit says to the churches. So when you go to Matthew 1:17, it talks about the genealogy of Christ. Now remember, Christ shows up the generation without a king. 2,000 years ago, they had kings. 2,000 years ago, the people was not scattered. So the genealogy of Christ is according to the what? The writings, not according to actual genealogy where you account. It's just according to the writings. And notice when I'm reading where Christ will be coming from. So if you go to Matthew 1:7, it says, so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David until the carrying away unto Babylon. So where was David carried to? David was carried away. So now a king got to be raised up, because now we don't have a king. Because all the kings have been carried away. This is why it's talking about David. It say, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ. So Christ is coming from what? The generation without a king. Christ is not a historical figure. Christ comes from the generation without a king. Because remember, Abraham, David, the lineage of kings, was carried away. It's just that simple, y'all. It's not rocket science. But of course, if you read it according to the way you have been taught, the devil deceived the whole world. Now you could accept it; it's in the book. But we ain't gotta, this ain't like, and this, like I was saying there, people don't make panels to solve problems. They make panels to make another one tomorrow. Because they acting like they solving them. They acting like they fronting. But if you was really solving the problem, these panels will stop. And we'll be doing more work outside of TikTok. But most people is making, when it comes to the conscious community, people is making videos and so-called fake consciousness to keep making it. It's just like a pastor. Come to me and I'm gonna give you, and I'm not gonna give you what you need. That's why you gotta keep coming back. Just like a doctor. A doctor's not gonna heal you. They're gonna give you prescriptions to what? Keep coming back. If somebody heal you, you don't have to come back. That's why I say what? Teach me how to fish. So I ain't got to fish for you. So if you read Matthew 1:17, according to prophecy, this lines up perfect. Because Christ is coming from the captivity. Christ is coming from the scattered people. Christ is coming from the scattered people. We don't know how strong that statement alone destroys all historians. That statement alone. Because this is why we have been fed what? A false story about what? Christ. So what? When Christ showed up, what? You totally blind. How you gonna see it when what? They said it already came. So we get into this generation without a king. This is what the whole Bible is written for. From the old to the new. From the old to the new, the Bible is for the generation without a king. So another verse I want to go to. Let's go to the book of James right quick, y'all. Let's read James 1:1. Now I'm reading the book of James again because I'm trying to show you what the New Testament is about. The New Testament is not a historical story. It's a foreshadow of the new day, the new dawn. So James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. How could James be talking to the scattered tribes? Are we the scattered tribes? So I mean, James would be talking to us. He couldn't have been talking back then because the people weren't scattered back then. They say we've been in slavery for 400 years, not 2,000. Ain't that what they said? They say 400 years, not 2,000 years. So 2,000 years ago, we wasn't scattered. But in today's time, everybody knows we scattered. So James' book is to who? Let's read it one more time. Let's read it one more again. James 1:1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, who comes from the scattered, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. So James is greeting us, not history. Because again, 2,000 years ago, we was not scattered. Because every move is about what? 400 years of slavery. 400 years of slavery. Now let's go to another verse. Let's go to Acts. Let's go to Acts, y'all. Let's go to the book of Acts. I think it's Acts 2. The day of Pentecostal. Yeah, let's go to Acts chapter 2. Let's start at verse 14. Now Peter is speaking to the crowd because remember, at Pentecost, this is when the Holy Spirit came into the disciples, right? So let's start at 2 and 14. I want to focus on 17. I'm just starting at 14 because that kind of, since I'm not starting at 1. It says, but Peter standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice and said unto them, ye men of Judea, and all ye that dwell at Jerusalem, be this known unto you, and hearken to my words. For these are not drunken, as ye suppose, seeing it but the 3rd hour of the day. But this is which is spoken by the prophet Joel. It shall come to pass in the last days, said God, that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Now, Jesus didn't talk to everybody 2,000 years ago. Jesus didn't have a TV. Jesus didn't have a radio. Jesus didn't even have a microphone. So people could hear him from miles and miles away. He didn't have an airplane. So Jesus couldn't talk to the world. I guess that's why Christ sent out the disciples. Because he couldn't go everywhere. He couldn't just fly. He couldn't just put a cape on or call a cloud and get on the cloud and just go where he wanted to go. So Peter is referencing something that's going to take place in the last days. Now, again, Peter is not a historical character. Who told you that? The devil deceived the whole world. So who told you Peter was a historical character? Who told you this? So he says, now remember, at this time, people was going to be thinking these people is drunk. People going to think these people on drugs because of what they saying. It says, for these are not drunken, as ye suppose, seeing it be the 3rd hour of the day. But this is which was spoken by the prophet Joel. So right now, people will be calling these people drunk, crazy. But this was spoken by the prophet. What's going on? They say what? It shall come to pass in the last days, said God, that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaids I will pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy. So right now, this is what's happening. So Peter is referencing something of the last days when people are saying, oh man, they drunk. Oh man, I don't know what the hell they talking about. But what? In the last days, the generation without a king. The generation without a king. So these are all little hints, y'all. Again, if you have empty your cup, you know, you can get some of this new wine. But if your cup full, of course, we can't put none in your cup. And we understand that. We not tripping. But let's go to Hosea. Let's go to Hosea, y'all. Feel that spot. Let's go to Hosea. Let's go to Hosea 3 and 4. I mean, let's just read. Let's start at verse 1. We in Hosea. Let's start at verse 1, y'all. Hosea chapter 3. We're gonna start at verse 1. So we're in Hosea 3, verse 1. It says, then said the Lord unto me, go ye, love a woman, be beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of the Lord toward the children of Israel, whom look to other gods and love fagons of wine. So again, it's showing you how the parables are written. Just as, you know, I don't want to chop the word up. It says, just as a man love a woman, this is how the Father loved Israel. But if that woman was to go off what? And love somebody else, and you deeply love her, how would that make you feel? So it's given the parable of the adulteress and what? And the fornicators. It says what? Who look to other gods. Who look to other gods. This is where the jealousy comes in. See, people think, oh, jealousy. You're not supposed to be jealous of a person. But jealousy exists because if you love somebody and somebody go love somebody else, what that's going to make you? We can put all kind of names on it, but you're going to be jealous. Not in a bad way, but if you jealous of just someone because of what they do and they ain't did nothing to you, that's what make it bad. But jealous, I'm just trying to use the word because the Bible does say God is a jealous God. You know, just as when you love something, you don't want nobody to go love nobody else. That's you know. So in that verse, I'm glad how I explained the parable because I think a lot of times when we try to put our fleshly ways with the Spirit of God, and it's only parables. So verse 2, it says, so I brought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for a homer of barley, and a half of homer of barley. And I said unto her, thou shalt abide for me many days, and thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a tribute. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. Like I said in my video, latter mean last. Shakespeare, latter mean last. You know, so when you get into these writings, y'all, everything lines up for truth. It don't line up for what? For what we imagine. So this Bible is talking about the prophecy and the vision of the last days, from Genesis to Revelations. And if you don't look at it that way, you're going to always be in darkness. That's why it's going to happen. And you're going to be what? Without excuse. You know, you're going to have to shut your mouth because it's going to happen. You know, all this stuff, this is just a warning before it happens. But it's going to happen for what? And that's why every tongue going to confess and every knee going to bow. Because when it happens, what can you say? Nothing. Damn. It's like you want your favorite team to win. And they lost. So what you got to do? Confess they lost. Or if they won, you got to confess they won. Because it happened. Now, before it happened, you could say what you want. That's why Babylon exists. But Babylon is destroyed at the happening because this is going to happen. I got to guess, I think this is a brother who used to follow me. The little youngster. Let's see. Yeah. I think this is what it is. Yeah, you meant to come up here, brother?
This is AI.
Who?
This is Brody. What's up, bro?
What's going on? What's going on, brother?
Oh, you wanna? Oh, yup. You like? What's up with it, Brody?
What's up?
What you been on? What you been on, bro?
Ain't nothing changed, bro.
Bro, I just went from Vegas to Virginia to Vegas back to the middle. Like,
yeah, you got something on the title, brother?
My shit, oh yeah. Oh, my shit tapped. Like, damn, this, damn. Hey, at the end of the day, motherfuckers just lost all their money, their houses, their clothes, they back in Omaha.
I don't know what, brother. But, so, again, when you deal with the scriptures, y'all, you know, you're dealing with parables. That's why we say the Bible is allegory. We don't say these things just to water the Bible down. The Bible is stories with hidden meanings. Now, what are the hidden meanings? The happenings. The happenings. The happenings is the hidden meaning because why? If you're not making it happen, what do you know? You know the story. And I hope you know a story is a lie. Unless what? You seen it happen. If you did not see it happen, that story is not real. Not to you. You know, so that's why we call it reality. Whatever Jesus did, whatever it's not in our reality. What's in our reality is right now. Right now is our reality, and God is what? Available right now. Because if God ain't available right now, God don't have the power. If you saying God is not available right now, then God is not all powerful. This is why I say worship the Father in spirit and truth, not in images and words. Because a lot of people have taken God's power away, or have tried to take away God's power through images and words. Or what we better say, people are blind to the power of God because of images and words. God's power can't be taken away. You're going to be blind on darkness because you can't see it. So we blind to it. That's why we void until what? The light comes and shine enlightenment on us. So right now, like I said, we just can't get over the fact that the Bible is for what? The last days. When God raises up a king from the seed that has been scattered. That's it. We tripping, we falling, we screaming, we hollering, we doing all this over something so simple. And because it's so simple, it frustrates people. It frustrates the hell out of people. Okay. You know, it frustrates the hell out of people when they hear the simple truth. You know, destroy they complicated lie. It's gonna be it's a simple truth that's destroying the complicated lie. And like I say, a lot of people just want to do panels so they can wake up tomorrow and do a panel. They want to keep waking up and doing panels. This is why people make panels. You know, this is like, okay, man, yeah, man, we talked about this today. Let's get ready to do another one tomorrow. Like, y'all, really, we talk to silence. The truth gonna silence things, and that's what people don't want. People want to wake up and continue to talk. What? No, you good.
Good.
Yeah. You know, so, you know, this is what we're dealing with, y'all. And like I say, man, just as God has poured out the Spirit on people, you know, the devil has came with his wrath too. Because why? The time is up. So people are bringing wrath. You notice people on the street corner bringing wrath. People on social media bringing wrath. They time up. We bringing a sword, and it cut. There's no it cuts. It cuts, y'all. It's double-edged. You know, ain't nothing dull about it. You know, that's why people be hollering and screaming. You know, you get cut. Some people, boy, they see B-L-O-O-D. They holler. You know, like a child ain't hurt till they see the B-L-O-O-D. And they'll get to screaming. Soon as they see that, they screaming. Ah! That's what's going on. When they get cut, y'all. So, let's see what verse I want to bring out, y'all. Let's see what verse. What that verse at? Where it says, "This is written for our. This is written for whom the end of the world has come." Yeah, 1 Corinthians 10. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 10, y'all. Which is a great chapter, man. So I guess I'm damn, it's long. Ooh, 33. But Paul hit some heavy hitters here, man. Yeah, Paul hit some good points. You know. So we're in 1 Corinthians 10, y'all. So, too many people are trying to relive the past, you know. And like I tell people, you know, Christ is the seed of David. It's the reason why these things are said. So you don't have to have an image. You know, a seed gonna come from the earth. A seed gonna sprout up from the earth. That's what's in the Bible. Someone is gonna sprout up from the earth. So if you go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, it says, "Moreover, brethren, I would not have ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat." Now, why these things have to be said right now? Because we're not all eating the same spiritual meat. We have our own dishes. We have our own food. You don't know how many people have what? Taken what? This recipe and created their own recipe to fit their agenda, to fit their ego, to fit what? Their what? Persona. But this food was not to be tampered with. This recipe was not supposed to ever be changed. It's what people have done. So these things have to be said because so many people are so ignorant. They try to go off a book where everybody ate the same food, and now they're using the book, but everybody eating different food. This how you know we are in error. So it say, "Moreover, brethren, I would not have ye should be ignorant." This is ignorant if everybody listen to Moses, but you can't have a Christ. That's ignorant. That's foolishness. If you gonna go by now, I'd rather you say, man, you know what? I don't believe the Bible, bro. I ain't with that shit. I understand. I understand your standpoint more if you say I'm not with the Bible. So yeah, you know, but if you're gonna be with the Bible and you don't wanna eat from the same place, you are not with the Bible in no way, shape, or form. You are ignorant of the fact. So Paul, that's why I say Paul started off by saying, moreover, brethren, and see, Paul was ignorant of this fact. You know, so what better someone to tell you that experienced it? So it say, I would not have ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers was under the cloud and passed through the sea and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. All our forefathers. And did all eat the same spiritual meat. And did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. And that rock was Christ. So what was Moses? Christ. Moses was the anointed one. Now, Moses wrote about hitting the rock and water gushing out. Because what did Moses also say? God gonna raise up another prophet like me. So Christ is gonna be like Moses. Christ gonna come at a different time. So Christ gonna have different works. Moses didn't talk to the world. Christ gonna talk to the world. But Moses was a Christ. Verse 5, I'm in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. But many of them God was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples, to intent that we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. The people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to do what? Play. You know how many people get this information and then start playing with it? Do you know how many people get this information and start playing? Because they think it's a game. You know, you think it's a game. You think it's a game. That's why this comes with a sacrifice. Because if you think it's a game, you ain't going to make no sacrifice. So we got to guess, y'all, right quick. Let's see.
What's going on, y'all, Drew, brother? What's up, brother?
What's going on? Peace.
Yeah, man. Scholar. I don't know if they told you or not, but it was a TikToker that goes by Scholar Bates. She was hosting a panel, and she was like inviting a lot of in different, I would say, different believers onto the panel. And one of your followers, Mela Yaju, came on, and she represented you well. I just wanted to let you know that, and that's all. Just saying what's up with you.
Okay. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
Would you be willing to come on the show? It'll be like an interview format. It won't be like a debate or hard challenging or nothing like that. Just like an interview of who you are, what you believe, things like that.
I think a lot of people know though. It depends on what she has. Like I say, I've been on her panel before. She was hosting some people that kind of disrespected me, so I have been on her panel before. So I was, it was just.
Yeah, I'll be moderating it though. That way, none of that will happen, because I want people to come on and be respected, not disrespected. You feel me?
Okay. Yeah, if I had the time, man, I might slide through. It depends on what day it is.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Be well.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
And where I was. So I was in 1 Corinthians, y'all. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 7. So it says, neither be ye idlers. Now those who idol worship, they are playing. They are not really serious. They are not, you know, like I said, man, it's so, when you really when you have the all-seeing eye, because a lot of people have a costume on. A lot of people hide behind words, scriptures, the Bible, religion, names. But when you get the all-seeing eye, you see through all that. You know, that's why a lot of people can't see the devil. The devil is in disguise as an angel of God. I don't know how many times I have to say that. But that's very important. We don't look at it that way. We look at the devil as someone doing something bad. The devil is someone you think is doing something good. That's what the devil is. The devil is in disguise as an angel of God. So it says, neither be ye idlers, as were some of them. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day, 23,000. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of the serpents. Now, who was the Christ that all people tempted back then? Was it Jesus? Or was it Moses? Because Jesus said Moses talked to the forefathers. Jesus didn't say I was talking to the forefathers. So who was the Christ that they tempted back then? Moses was Christ. They didn't tempt Jesus. This is why Christ means the anointed one. Moses was the anointed one. Who was the anointed one back then? Moses. Can we argue that? That's why everybody read Moses' book. These things you can't argue, but don't nobody want to talk about this because this silenced the what? The Babel. And when you're a part of Babylon, you don't want Babylon to be silenced because you want to continue to talk. So many people want to continue to talk. They don't want to be silenced. They want to continue to babble. So verse 8, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, it said, neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents. Neither murmur, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer. Now all these things happen unto them for examples, and they are written for our abomination, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Now these things happen unto them for examples. Now these things happen unto them for examples. What's the best way for God to give us an example? And then it say what? And they are written for our abomination. They're not written to instruct you. They are written for our abomination, to show you what we'll be doing, to show us what not to do. But it says, upon whom the ends of the world are come. The end of the world didn't happen 2,000 years ago. So the Bible is written for what? The end. Even the New Testament is written for the end of the world. Even the New Testament is written for the end of the world. We can't see that. We void that. That's void to us. That's impossible. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back then. Because in your mind, Jesus had to come back So it says, wherefore let him that thinketh he stand take heed lest he fall. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. There had no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will be temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. When? You can't do it on your phone? So, but you notice it says, there had no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able. But will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye shall be able to bear it. Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless is not the communion of the blood of Christ. The bread we break is not communion of the body of Christ. For we being many are one bread and one body. It's one bread and it's one body. Be careful of the bread with yeast, because it's different kinds. But when it comes to God, it's one bread, one body. We look around, we got all kind of different breads. We got all different what? Bodies of what? Religions. We know God ain't nowhere in the picture, if you want to go by the book. Because if we going by the book, it's one bread, one body. So it says, I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 16. The cup of blessing which we bless is not the communion of blood of Christ. The bread which we break is not the communion of the body of Christ. For we being many are one bread and one body. For we are all partakers of that one bread. Order, structure. The order of Melchizedek. For we are all partakers of that one bread. Behold, Israel after the flesh, are not they which eat of sacrifices partakers of the altar? What I say then, that is that the idol is anything, or that which offend in sacrifice the idols is anything. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, not to God. The things that the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, not to God. And I would not have ye should have fellowship with devils. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of the devil. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the table of devils. You see how the Lord got a table amongst the table of devils? Y'all don't catch that? The Lord has a table amongst the table of devils, because why? You have free will to choose. You got free will to choose. It says, Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? Verse 13, 1 Corinthians 10. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's man's wealth. Whatsoever is sold in the shameless, that eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for his conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. If any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. But if any man say unto you, this is offended in sacrificing unto idols, eat not for his sake that shewed it, and for the conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. So just trying to show you, like, that's what Moses really talked about in Leviticus. When they talk about the diet, what to eat, who to eat from. This is what Paul kind of breaking down. If he's saying it's sacrifice to an idol, don't eat it. Don't eat what's sacrificed to an idol. So he did more breaking down again the dietary law. Information, food for thought. But 1 Corinthians 10 and 30. For if I by grace be a partaker, why am I evil spoken of for that which I give thanks? Whether therefore eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. Give no offense neither to the Jews nor the Gentiles, nor to the church of God. Even as I please all men in all things, not seeking my own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved. And that was the end of 1 Corinthians chapter 10. So like I say, I read that, to really focus on verse 11. I read that whole chapter just to focus on verse 11, where it states, now all these things happen unto them for examples, and they were written for our abomination, upon whom the ends of the world has come. So all these things that our forefathers did, these things were recorded so we wouldn't do it. At the time when God showed up, like God showed up for our forefathers. Just as God showed up for our forefathers, God was going to show up the same way. God don't change. God showed up in the Son of Man. God going to show up in the Son of Man today. But how many people have changed what? God. How many people? Through their teachings, through their philosophies, through their studies, they have changed how God operates. That's why I say God said, you have forgotten my name for Baal. We forgot what God placed the name because of Babylon. It's so much Babel, we forgot God gonna put the name in a living vessel. God put a name in a living vessel for Moses at Moses' time. Nobody cracked the sky for our ancestors. Nobody came from the ground for our ancestors. Our ancestors didn't come back and our ancestors didn't talk to them. None of that happened. That's not how it operated, y'all. So, But again, y'all, the Bible is for the generation without a king. The Bible is for the generation without a king. I don't know how much I can say it. And we are that generation. Because where's our king, y'all? Where the king at? Where the king? He in the sky? For 2,000 years. What he been doing up there? What part of the sky he in? He in American sky, he in China sky, he in African sky, he in British sky, he in Australia sky. He in South America sky. He in Canada sky. Like, what sky is he in? What sky? He on the west, east, central. What time zone? You know, like we look. The sky huge. He on the edge of the sky. What do Christ do every day up there? Do he sleep? He walk around. He exercise. He got a wife up there. He got kids. What is Christ doing? He just sitting there. He just this. We don't even. I don't think people even. What the hell is Christ doing? Oh, we feel like other people up there too. Huh? You know. Now, to be real and to be humble as possible, I don't know what's up there. But I know God, the book don't tell you nothing about God going to take Christ from the sky. That's no. So if it's people up there, the Christ that the Bible book is prophesizing about, he ain't up there. He ain't up there. He the seed of David. The seed of David wouldn't be up there. You know. So, like I say, y'all, man, it's just y'all, you know, that the live man have us, we void, y'all. We are void. We are in darkness. Total darkness, y'all. So, like I say, we deal with a generation without a king, y'all. That's what the Bible is written about. God raising up a king. You know. I'll give you a verse for that. Let's go to Amos. Let's go to Amos. Amos 9 and 11. And I'll just read the verse 15. I ain't got no guess. So it says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. So why is this tabernacle of David fallen? Because David have been carried away to Babylon. So the fallen tabernacle is how the New Testament starts off. Let's go to Matthew 1 right quick. Let's go to Matthew 1 right quick, y'all. Matthew 1 and 17. So all the generations of Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David until the carrying away unto Babylon are 14 generations. So when David was carried away to Babylon, this tabernacle was broken. So it say, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. So you see, David has been carried away in Matthew. This is how the New Testament starts off. David being carried away. But then it's the New Testament is about what? The carpenter, who God raises up to rebuild the tabernacle. So it says, unto the carrying away unto Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away unto Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. Christ will be the carpenter. Christ will be the builder of what? The new tabernacle that's being created. So when you go back to the Amos 9 and 11, the New Testament is just a foreshadow of how the tabernacle is going to be built, what it's going to take, the passion, the sacrifice, the crucifixion. It's how it all plays out, and it's playing out right now. So let's go back to Amos 9 and 11. It says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. I will build it as in the days of old. So Christ will be what? Rebuilding the tabernacle that has been torn down. That's why we say, let's build. Verse 12. And they may possess the remnant of Edom, and all of the heathen, which are called by my name, said the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the thredder of grapes him that soweth the seed. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. Say the mountains are going to drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. And they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given unto them, said the Lord their God. And they shall no more be pulled up out of their land. They should no more be pulled up out of their land. When did this prophecy be fulfilled? They shall never be pulled up out of their land. When did this prophecy be fulfilled? But you notice again, so we talk about Christ being a carpenter, you know, as Christ really was just building houses. But the Father kingdom has to be built, because the Father kingdom is not being built. This is the devil kingdom, you know. But so yeah, y'all, you know, this is what people, you know, don't really understand, man. I know we bring we come from many different ways to reveal why the Bible is an end time prophecy. You know, all these scriptures that's talking about the end days. It's not talking about history. You know, God say don't dwell on the past. Shit. God say don't dwell on the past. You know, God say don't dwell on the past. I'm doing a new thing. You know, they must got a mosquito out there. Okay, look. I feel like an ant bite. Goddamn Georgia mosquitoes. But so and that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's picking up the book, dwelling on the past. Everybody's picking up the Bible, dwelling on the past. You know, and missing the mark, y'all. And missing the mark, man. So I know y'all, like I said, I was hoping to get a few guests, but if not, man, you know, I gave y'all enough food. It's on the table. The recording will be uploaded on the YouTube, y'all. And like I say, y'all, the boat gonna keep selling, y'all. It's gonna keep selling, man. You know, to understand these things is not hard. This is a simple truth. This is not a complicated truth. The lie is complicated, man. The lie is very, very complicated, but you know, the truth is not. You know, it's something simple. That's why I said the hill's gonna melt. Those who stand on it think they king of the hill. When this truth comes, they gonna melt. All this sweetness, all this sweetness dropping from the mountain right now. They don't stand a chance standing on their hill, man. They get knocked off. They say their hill's gonna melt. So, but the title, y'all, it stands for itself. We are the generation without a king. That's why a king has to be raised up, and that king is gonna be raised up by the Father. This is how you get the I am. You know, this is the last scripture I'm gonna bring out. It's in Deuteronomy, y'all. Like I say, for Babylon, we have forgotten the name. Deuteronomy 12:4. 12:5. I'm gonna keep it short. It says, but unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name, there, even unto his habitation shall he seek, and there thou shalt come. So where is God going to place his name according to the writings? Where is God going to place the name according to the writings? But unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose. Deuteronomy 12:5. Out of all your tribes, but unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose, out of all your tribes, to put his name, This is where you should come. So why are we going to a book? When they say God gonna put his name in what? Somebody that's what? Among you. This is why I say no one knows the name but him. But no guess, y'all, to understand the title. I mean, to really talk about the title, not understand it. That's what I'm up here giving. But I think it's very important for us to know that we are the generation without a king, and that's what the Bible is written for. It's another way it's another angle to come at people to show them the Bible is for the last days. These prophecies are playing out. How you think you get the passion of Christ? Because Christ showed up and snapped his fingers? That's how you get the passion of Christ? What passion? Where's the passion in that at? Where's the true passion of somebody showing up and snapping their fingers and everything getting done? You're a part of the passion of Christ. You're watching the passion of Christ. But you seen the movie first. The revolution won't be televised. And I hope you understand Christ brings the revolution. Christ brings the solution. You can have a revolution, but you ain't got no solution. You just reveling. We done had many rebels. But now we got a revolution. Forget revolution. Rebels with solutions. That's what we are. That's what I am. So again, y'all, man, it's just, I was on, K-Money went on the pounder today, man. It just with this, and I seen it clear as day. Like I said, when you get the all seeing eye, you see through people. That's the first thing that I received when God anointed me. I seen what other people didn't see, and I'm just talking about simple things like you don't really see who that person is. You don't see, just because this person got a book in their hand, you don't really see, no. People can't. Some people can't. That's why, again, the devil is in disguise of an angel of light. And man, what I seen when I got anointed is, like I said, it was like I say, it's an all seeing eye, man. Everybody don't get it, but you gotta be humble, you gotta be meek, you gotta believe in God. You can get it. You can get it. That's why you have so many teachings and so many stuff to take you away from God. It's so much. That's why I was saying earlier in the beginning of the video, we would have did better staying in church. Once we got the burning sage, playing with rocks, joining Hebrew camps, putting on fringes, going to get an animal, all this, trying to be set apart, which it feel good. Now, I mean, it look good, but it don't feel good. Because it ain't right. That's why when you deal with God, God has a Sabbath day where you're going to be at rest. You're not going to have to go get fringes and sew them on your clothes. That's not rest. That's still work. You're not going to have to go find an animal and sacrifice it. That's work. You're not going to have to go to a building. That's work. That's not rest. And a lot of people don't want to worship God Sabbath day, as they tell you. You say, you sound jealous and hurt. Well, I say everybody got their opinions, brother, man. Everybody got their opinions. But, so y'all, it's just, man, Israel don't even consider, man. Israel don't even consider. Okay, man, on that panel, I was like, damn. Scripture being fulfilled. They don't even consider the ox knows its owner, and the donkey knows its master. But my people Israel don't even consider the small things, the simple things that really help us see what's going on, y'all. And that's what this is, the opening the blind, You're a grown man and you type faster than a secretary. Y'all know that? Imagine another grown man in the comments, don't believe in somebody, been on their live a bunch of times, typing like this. The Bible say what? Shit, no man left. Ezra say you're going to be happy to see a man in those days. You know. Like, imagine that, y'all. Imagine that. Somebody that just follow you around every day typing. You know, man, like. I'm old school, brother, man. I'm old school, man. You know, don't mind me. I'm just a little old school. I'm a young, old school brother. You know, if I got something to say to a man, you know, I'm able to look him in his eyes. I'm able to say what I gotta say, you know, and in a decent way. I'm not talking about no street talk. I'm talking about real principled man talk. If I have a disagreement with any man, I will go confront them if need be with my mouth to get the situation straight. I'm not going to straighten the situation out, you know, through texting and call. If I do text you, it's going to be like, hey, brother, you know, what can we meet to sit down and talk? But these are grown men who say they are Israel, but can't come up and have a conversation with someone that they so-called disagree with, but follow and watch every day. Why, if you know, like, you know what? I ain't gonna even engage in it. You know, like I'm gonna use the old saying: "You ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all." So I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it. You know, but nah, bro. I'm not answering. You know, a stalker. I'm not answering no questions. You know. The only reason I gave you the time of day because I don't have a guest, so I'm just trying to read the comments, interact, you know, see what I see. But these are people that follow me around, man. They know what I say. They know what scriptures I bring out. I don't change. You know, I bring out the same scriptures, same verses for years and years and years and years and years. You know, the fire just get hotter. You know, because the fire stay burning. And there's so many dry branches, the fire get hotter. Because, you know, I know a lot of people understand the parable, but it's in the Bible in some. The branches are fuel for fire. So if you're a country boy, you know anything about fire, you need dry branches. Go try to cut a branch from a tree and put it in the fire to start it. No, you need something that's fell from the tree, that ain't attached to the tree. It has no life. There's a lot of y'all, and y'all fuel for the fire. So y'all keep this fire lit. Y'all keep it burning. So do your job. Do your job, and I'm gonna do mine. Trust me, I'm gonna do mine. You know. But like I said, I think everyone could consider this is a generation without a king. This is who the Bible is written for. It's no secret. And what we are actually missing is understanding. With all thy getting, get understanding. Most people know thousands and thousands of scriptures. They don't understand 800 of them. They don't understand 800 of them. But they know so many scriptures. So they've been getting. And the only thing they didn't get was understanding. And now they got too much. You know, now they got too much. And now they can't understand the simple things. They can't get the simple things, man. I'm talking about simple. I'm talking about the and that's why I says what? These things was hidden from the wise and prudent. And who they are revealed to? The babes. The babes be like, man, I learned that shit so fast. Yeah, babies learn fast. Go try to teach a grown up. Go try to teach a grown up. Shit, man, it might take them all day long. A baby pick that stuff up so fast because they ain't fighting with nothing. You know, so if something is righteous, you know, and a baby is picking it up, if they learn fast bad things, they learn fast good things. They just gotta have somebody to show them good things, and they can learn it what real fast. You know. So these things are hidden from the wise and prudent, and they are revealed to the babes. It's why I say certain scriptures how we've been reading them for a while. You know, We overlooked a lot of them, but now they're what? They happening. So now, since the happening is here, it's no longer overlooking. Oh shit, what are the babes? The babes are those who what? Who say they don't know. You know how hard it is for somebody to say I don't know right now? Y'all know how hard that is? For someone to say I don't know? Man, shit, you probably can get nobody $1 million to say I don't know. I'll give you $1 million, man. Just say you don't know. Nah, I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I can't do that. I need that million though. I need that million. But I can't do that. Nah, I can't say I don't know. I just can't. My soul can't take it. Deep down, you know you don't know. And I say, y'all, when it comes to this generation, y'all, the wicked and adulterers, we fit it. We fit it real good, man. We fit it real good. That's why I say when you get to all seeing now, you're able to see the wickedness that most people can't see. Because it's in the skies. Wickedness is not the bad things of the world. You got bad and good. Wickedness is when it comes to transgression against God. Wickedness when it comes to robbing God for your own purpose. That's what wickedness is. I don't think we separate a lot of these terms and words the correct way when it comes to God prophecy. Because a lot of people wouldn't be doing the things they doing if the world wasn't wicked. But since the world is wicked, it's causing what? The bad. It's causing people to do bad things. Once you take a wickedness away, I'm not saying you ain't gonna have bad, but trust me, you're going to have way more good than bad. The bad ain't going to even really exist because it's going to be so much good because wickedness is going to be taken away. You know, that's what, you know, this is why heaven going to be on earth. This is how the streets going to be what? Of gold. You know, so. But like I say, y'all, I'm logging off, man. Peace. It will be uploaded. As always, I hope the Father has circumcised. Y'all hearts and ears for the message. Peace and blessings. I'm out.